I don't do these from a script, and I generally do them on one take. We planted a whip. That would be just a long, slender thing like this. I've seen them 5 or 6 feet tall. Most of them are probably less than 5. And anyway, our whip got cut right there. And that is the graft. Now that graft is almost shaped like an acorn. You will never see grafts that huge on fruit trees, but that one just is. It looks like it's been exposed to radioactivity. But you will see a swollen place where this trunk comes up, and they grafted the apple tree onto that. And the rootstock determines whether it is a full-size tree, a semi-dwarf, or a dwarf, because they have many, many different kinds of rootstocks to grow on. And then that's the graft. Then the first year, this branch grew, and that branch grew. And that branch came all the way up here, and all the way out there. That was the first year. Now the first year, it had some shoots bigger than that on it, and they became that, and that over time. Now obviously that one is younger than this one. But this one had a problem with it, and it still has a problem with it. And I cut that off. And so this one came out. And it came out like a little shoot, smaller than that. And became that limb or branch. This one over here came out of this branch, the main branch, the first year. You can see where we cut these off at the collar. See, all of these have been cut off below this height at the collar, and they heal over on their own with no pain or anything. There is a tiny little collar all the way around that of little teeny lines, and if you make your cuts there, it will heal itself. If you cut into that collar, it will not heal over. If you leave a stub, the stub will rot right through the center, and you will lose this branch. And the easiest way I can explain to you is, let's pretend that that collar is the end of a balloon where you blow it up. And the balloon is inside this trunk, all the way down into here. And all the way back up to the neck, and that's where you blow it up. When you cut this off, flush without damaging that little collar, that whole membrane that feeds that branch just solidifies and seals itself off, so no disease can get from this cut into this trunk and kill it. And that's the easiest way I can explain it to you. So as long as the collar's in shape. See, all these were cut at a collar. You can see all the little lines on that. I'll show you closer up. All right, so this branch grew before this branch grew because of the size, you can tell. And I've made cuts here. I've made cuts here. I've made cuts here. I've made cuts there. And then this branch got up to here. It was smaller than this when it started. And it started growing this way. And a little sapling came off here first, because it's bigger. And then one came off of here, either late in the season or the next year. And another one came off of here. And so that's what you're trying to do when you plant your tree. You're going to get this branch coming this way. You're going to get a branch coming this way. It would be great if I had 3 branches coming out of here, but that doesn't necessarily happen. And then what you're trying to do is get a branch on each quarter side of this tree. Now I have 2 branches. Then I have 1 big branch, another big branch, another big branch, and this branch. So I've got 4 branches, one sort of on every quarter. Now how you prune from here out, you can guide that branch to be in a perfect quarter. If I had a sapling come out of right there, I could let it grow straight up this way and fill in this void that's beside me. But this is just the structure of the tree. Now that one right there came out, and this piece broke off. For some reason it just broke off, and so it made that would have been a branch going out that way. So it made this branch, and this one made this branch, then it made that branch, then it made that one first, then that one, then that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. We don't need all those, do we? And this is a water chute. You can tell by the bark. You don't see any really buds on the bark. See, on that bark you can see buds. On that bark you can see buds. On this old tree limb you can see where the buds were. There aren't any buds there. It's not going to grow any fruit. So you don't need that. And that will be taken off down there. And that is where it got cut at the collar. And see how the collar is all the way around. But that is a weak place right there because that's bare wood. And you may lose the plant. Generally you want to make these cuts on an angle so they don't have water laying on them. It is very difficult for a vertical branch to be cut on an angle and be next to the collar. But if they're laying flat, water gets on them, and over time they will get into the wood. Like right there, I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut it off where the collar is to take that water chute out. Now this tree is not, it looks bad, but it's not in that bad a shape. It's got all this branching out here like you want. That branches out here like you want. All this is like you want. The only problem is, over time, these didn't look like they were close to each other, and now they are. Now I can either pull them apart by trying to pull this branch over here, which will pull that branch back to it, or try to pull that branch over toward that post to give me some clearance in here. They will mate together if they stay there long enough. But when the wind blows, this just rolls back and forth and rubs the protective bark off, and then that allows disease to enter.